years ago, we started out with the first of the USWA championship shows right here in this studio.
And that unprecedented run began in March of 1977. Today, we mark show number 1,000.
Get everybody there. Right. My kind of group, I can tell you that.
I want them all here for the next 1,000.
Bring them back next week and every week thereafter. Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell along with Dave Brown and Corey Backlund. And we are so delighted to have you in as our guest today for our 1,000th program right here from this studio.
Today we're going to take a look at some of the classic footage, some of the most memorable things that have happened in the USWA. Great highlights from the career of Jerry Lawler, including the King harassing us, as a matter of fact. Great music videos of the King, highlights of one of his biggest victories, too, over Kurt Hennig when he won the AWA title.
Yes, sir. And in addition to that, we're going to be seeing the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, the fabulous Jackie Fargo, the fabulous one. That's not all of it. Superstar Bill Dundee, Phil Hickerson, and in addition, Andy Kaufman, Jerry Jarrett, Tojo Yamamoto, and so many more that we are looking forward to it.
You mentioned Jerry Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett will be taking a look back, too, at his first appearance here, and it was not as a wrestler, but we'll also look at one of his early matches.
And we are starting something here today with a 12-man battle royal that ultimately, out of the battle royal, it will take place right here in the studio on our 1,000th show. We will be crowning a TV champ, and Dave, we're not going to go into the whole workings of it, but in the future we'll be having a TV championship match every week right here in the studio.
Absolutely. And today, now we've got the Cyberpunks against the Headbangers. We'll also have more on that feud between Cyberpunk Fire and superstar Bill Dundee. And the final match of the day, Brian Christopher and Jesse James Armstrong against Reggie B. Fine and Brickhouse Brown.
I want to tell everybody, just as a little viewing note, be sure and watch as we go into a break. At every break, there is some spectacular footage from the past. It'll bring back some great memories, we hope. Right now, here's something that brings back a memory of mine, and that's with a guy that we've really enjoyed working with for a long, long time. Promoter Eddie Marlin has got some things to say. Eddie.
Hello, everybody. Here I am back again. You know, it just seems like it was only yesterday that we was right at this TV station doing our first wrestling show, and here it is going to do our 1,000th show today. Of course, that's 20 years. Dave, Lance, you know, that makes us 20 years older, bud, but I don't care. It's been 20 good years. I want to thank everybody that's behind the cameras, all the people in engineering, all the people here at the TV station that's made it possible, especially you, Lance, Dave, and Corey. What a great job y'all done. And the wrestlers that's come through here. We've had great wrestlers come through here to come and go. But the main person I want to thank is the people sitting watching the TV. You have made it possible for us to be here 20 years. If it hadn't been for you, we wouldn't have been here 20 weeks. But we're here 20 years. Dave and Brown, I hope we get to come back and say one more time, boy, that makes us 20 more years older. I'm going to try. I hope you're there watching. We're going to do our best to be with you 20 more years.
I crown thee the new king, Paul the King Ellering.
You got a short memory, Hart. That's all I can say.
Okay, back here on USWA Championship Wrestling Special, show number 1,000. Glad to be a part of it, boy. I began here in the USWA back in 1990, and I began as an announcer here with USWA Wrestling, and I began working along with Dave Brown. And this time I'd like to call Dave out. All right, and I'd like to present a special plaque from WNC TV5 and USWA Wrestling, presented to Dave Brown, commemorating our 1,000th show. Thank you for your phenomenal contributions, 1996, to Dave Brown. And thank you, Dave.
Good to have you with us. You've been a great addition to the show.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
Thanks.
Good working with you. This time, I'd like to call over, guys. Just a few years ago, I guess about a year and a half ago, he joined us back here, and he has been really great to work with. He has really inspired me. Call him over now, the Lancer, Lance Russell. Good to see you, man.
Carman.
I'd like to present this plaque from USWA Wrestling TV5, presented to Lance Russell, commemorating our 1,000th show. Thank you, Lance, for your phenomenal contributions, 1996, presented to Lance Russell.
By golly, I'll tell you, I'm tickled to death to be a part of it right here, and thank you very much, Corey. We got lots of it today, buddy.
Got lots of it. Hey, you see these guys now. Well, let's take a look at them. Some years ago, back in 1977.
You had to do this, didn't you?
Take a look at some foot.
And uglier just arrived. Now why do you want to come out? I knew you couldn't stand it. What you've done, you've wallowed in obscurity ever since we left that other station, and you couldn't stand it. Why do you come out and try to tell these people you've been fishing and hunting? You've been sitting glued in front of that television to Channel 5, watching me out here make a bigger star out of myself, and you're realizing that the people are forgetting about you, and that's why you're here today.
Yeah,
tell the truth,
no,
Banana Nose.
I'll tell you the exact truth. One of the hesitations I had of coming back here was the fact that I knew I was going to have to listen to that mouth that hadn't gotten any smaller.
Yeah, tell that to all those rednecks out there, because I know better, but it is good to see that nose again. First of all, I want to mention, everybody's wondering, where's Lance Russell? Well, he had a death in his family today. One of his Baxter suits passed away, and he couldn't be here. It shined itself to death. Did you know that? Lance couldn't be here today, but I'm sure he'll be back next week, won't he?
He will.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I miss Banana Nose when he's not around.
Who do we blame for that, putting that there? Thanks, Corey. Hey, this is the big one we were talking about a little earlier. Today, landmark moment, because we're going to have a battle royal to determine who the TV champion of the USWA will be, and that title will be on the line every week, Dave. I think we got him in the ring, and I'm ready for a little action about now.
Yeah, me too. This is a brand new title, USWA TV title, and it will not be this format every week, but in order to determine the first champion, you just put them all in the ring and let them go. That a battle royal has always been something very exciting. It's very difficult to keep up with because you got action going all over the ring, and you got some unusual pairings happening too. But the last man standing in here will be our USWA TV champion.
First man out goes Reggie B. Fine as the Moondog is coming after him. Right out here on the floor, and what else would be any more appropriate on number 1,000? Up in the ring, the Headbanger and Jesse James Armstrong going at it. The Cyberpunks are involved. Brian Christopher now working on Thrasher in one corner. We've got the Shadow. Yoshi Kwan is in the Battle Royal also, Dave. We've got a bunch happening all at once.
You know, Dave, a lot of great managers have come through Memphis. Jim Cornette, Jimmy Hart.
And you're including Scott Bowden yourself in that, I guess,
Yeah,
huh?
that's exactly right, Dave. But the difference is, none of them ever won a battle royal on television. Scott Bowden is going to make wrestling history today, right here on show number 1,000. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to win this battle royal. Watch this, Dave. I'm going to leave my wallet right here, Dave. I know how much money I got in here, so don't be sneaking off with it.
I know how much you probably got in there, too. None. Climb on in the ring there, Scott. I don't have any problem with that.
No, sir. As a matter of fact, I'd buy a ticket to see him get right in the middle of all of that stuff. Jesse James Armstrong goes with Mosh with a big right hand. Tony Williams firing away, and then Thrasher coming back on the Cyberpunk ice. Fire being attacked by Yoshi Kwan.
Bowden
T.D.
is in
Steele
there.
pulled him off, huh?
Bowden is in there.
Oh, yes, he is. Scott Bowden has placed himself right up in the middle of it. He's looking for an out. Oh, Jesse James Armstrong had him by the hair, but Bowden got away.
He tried to hide behind one of the Headbangers who said, "Get away from me."
I got troubles of my own. I don't need that.
Brian Christopher and Jesse James Armstrong unceremoniously dump him right over the rope.
He's out of it.
Mr. Bowden is out of it,
He won't be our champion. Oh, well. Come get your wallet and go salve those wounds. Brian Christopher firing away at Mosh in this corner directly above us. Jesse James Armstrong. Yoshi Kwan, Tony Williams, the Cyberpunks, both of them are still left. An over-the-top rope elimination.
Brian Christopher just threw me over the top rope. He's disqualified, Dave.
Oh, you're disqualified. Don't forget your wallet. A couple of your credit cards expired while you're up there, I think.
T.D. Steele after Jesse James. Over in the corner, Fire trying to put Mosh out of there with no success. We're going to have to take a break here in just 1 second, and we will keep it on. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back to this Battle Royal in a moment or two. You are seeing the few, the strong, the brave that have survived in this TV Championship Battle Royal that's underway. We still have both of the Cyberpunks involved in there. Tony Williams involved. Both of the Headbangers, by the way, as Thrasher just came over and dropped a hard one right down on Fire.
Fire was about to dump Mosh over the ropes, but Thrasher saw what was going on and put a stop to that.
Tony Williams just got eliminated with the over-the-top rope.
Yoshi Kwan working on Brian Christopher back in the corner. That's Jesse James Armstrong. He's working on Thrasher.
That's Yoshi Kwan on the left of your screen, as many of the folks are not as familiar with him as some of the other wrestlers that are in there. And Brian Christopher going after Kwan, as Kwan has really been vicious in that ring and has contributed mightily to some of the eliminations, not so much as throwing them out, but in setting them up where they could be thrown out. Ice goes over behind Mosh and hammers him as Fire was being jumped on in the corner.
Thrasher working on Jesse James Armstrong back in the corner, too. Action in all corners of the ring here. Yoshi Kwan back in Brian Christopher.
We're down to 7 out of the original 12 that started it, and it's been kind of talking about catch, and there goes Ice as Yoshi Kwan put Ice out of the business. And so one of the Cyberpunks is gone, and Fire goes right after him in the middle of the ring. Jesse James Armstrong right back after Thrasher as Brian Christopher is over with Mosh. So it's down to 6. What a pairing it is. Brian going after Mosh along with Jesse James. There goes Fire out of it as Yoshi Kwan has eliminated both.
Yeah, eliminated both Fire and Ice, the Cyberpunks. Meanwhile, it's Christopher and Armstrong working on Mosh of the Headbangers. Both Headbangers still in here.
They have both been extremely active in here and have received, and you know, that kind of gives you a test as to the guys that they think are going to be tough, because they've received attention from everybody and taken quite a pounding in there, but still are battling away. Kwan going after Jesse James Armstrong. Looks like he's trying to pull his tongue right out of his mouth as he grabs in there and nailed Armstrong to the ropes. Kwan comes back. A foot right in the head on Armstrong as Brian battling in between the two Headbangers. They've got him pounding down Mosh.
He had the Headbangers going earlier where he ran both their heads together, but now it's Mosh with him over the rope. Meanwhile, Yoshi Kwan comes up with this kick and really nailed Jesse James Armstrong with it. This Yoshi Kwan, a bit of a surprise, I think. As you said, a lot of the fans not quite as familiar with him. But he's in there and looking very dangerous toward becoming the TV champion at this point.
Brian Christopher battling for his life with the Headbangers as he rips back with the right hand to Thrasher and then Mosh. And we have 5 remaining. There goes Yoshi Kwan. Jesse Jesse James Armstrong played it just right. Quan had really been punishing him. He bent down and he backdropped him right over the ropes and out of the ring. So Quan is eliminated, leaving Jesse James. Brian Christopher, who just hollered to Jesse, I need some help.
Yeah. Well, we got basically two sets of folks who could make tag teams here. The Headbangers, of course, wrestling as a tag team. Oh, there's trouble right there for Brian. Jesse James Armstrong didn't intend to do that, but he unwittingly helped in hoisting him over the top rope. So it's the Headbangers, the tag team, against Jesse James Armstrong, and things not looking good for Armstrong right now when you got those two tag team members facing you. Bruno, the referee, has climbed into the ring now to keep an eye on things. Headbangers pounding on Jesse James Armstrong. Back in the corner. This for the TV championship, the brand new USWA TV championship. It'll be on the line every week. Oh, my goodness. Armstrong double teamed by the Headbangers.
I don't know whether you folks... Oh, look at that!
Whoa, both at once!
Jesse James Armstrong as he took out the Headbangers in one great backdrop, both of them, David.
Fantastic move, and there's your new TV champion, Jesse James Armstrong.
You're going to be seeing him defend his title next week right here on the television show number 1001. One of the things that is thrilling that back in 1992 I was not able to be here, but I've been able to look at the tape and I want to share it with you. A sidekick who is not only a great working partner here, but a great friend, Dave, celebrated his 25th anniversary in wrestling. Let's look at this tape. You'll get a kick out of it.
Here at ringside, we are ready to go with another day of USWA Championship Wrestling, and Eddie Marlin is joining us here. Ed?
Glad to be here, Dave. Glad to be here. Special occasion today.
Yeah, a very special occasion. It's Dave Brown's silver anniversary in association with the USWA. How about it? Yeah. 25 years, and Eddie, I think you've got something for Dave here.
That's right, Dave. You've been here 25 years, 25 happy years, I hope. I think I've been with you most of those 25 years, and a token of our appreciation is a watch. Now, it's a silver and gold watch. The silver is for the 25 years past, and the gold is for the 25 years coming up. So here you are, Dave.
Thank you very much. Great pleasure working with you. Can you get a shot of it there? Well, it's been a great 25 years for me. Wrestling has opened a lot of doors of opportunity. In addition, it's fun to be here every week, and a lot of strange things happen. And I'm sure over the next few years, a lot more strange things will happen too.
It wouldn't be.
USWA Wrestling has been a part of the TV5 programming schedule for close to 20 years now. A fixture on every Saturday morning, and we are very, very delighted that it has been. On this, the occasion of the 1,000th broadcast of wrestling on TV5, my congratulations to Jerry Lawler, to Dave Brown, to Lance Russell, to everybody concerned. We are just extremely happy to have you as part of the WMC family.
know, Dave and I have talked about this a lot of time. One of the most gratifying things about being able to sit here at this desk and watch the wrestling every week is to be able to watch newcomers who come along and then develop over the time and become stars nationally and internationally, and that is a very gratifying thing. We've seen a lot of them, and because the action right through this area has been the stepping off point for a whole bunch of them. One of the guys that it in particular has been gratifying to see is a young man who just made up his mind that the work ethic is the thing that's going to get you there, and he has worked just harder than most people at it. We're talking about Jeff Jarrett, who we remember the very first match that he had here in the studio. It was not as a wrestler, it was when Jeff was a referee, but you could see sparks of fire in that young man at that time. Let's take a look at it. Bill Dundee causing problems along with Buddy Landell at that time, but you saw Jeff Jarrett get at it. Now let's take a look at some time past, and Jeff Jarrett is now a wrestler and in the ring. Let's take a look at that first match right here in the studio.
Look at Jeff. Shoots him in. Backdrops there. Good backdrop.
Yeah, actually this was a match down at the Coliseum, and look at this young man go. What a difference. When he made up his mind it was going to happen, he worked at it until it did.
Press as he came off the second rope. Tony Falk ducked under, drops with a big elbow. And there is the count of 1, 2, but Jarrett gets the left shoulder up again. Looked like that was it for Jeff. But he's got a little stake in this, too. Turns him into a slide. Count of 1, 2, 3, got him. Tony Falk is the loser and leaves town.
Boy, I got to tell you, you could see it there. And right now, I want to bring him in. A guy who was a former USWA champion, a former Intercontinental champion, and a former Unified World Heavyweight champion, Double J, Jeff Jarrett. What a thrill, Jeff. Complete with the doctor's release form.
That's right, Lance. You know, I'm real excited, but on the other hand, it's been a long, long time since I've walked through that curtain and that chills run over my body, because it's a very special occasion. You know, like you said, I've been from the Superdome to the Tokyo Dome, from the Louisville Gardens to Madison Square Garden, from small town Kentucky high schools to big soccer stadiums in Europe. Double J has wrestled all over the world.
Yes, sir.
But release or no release, I would have been here on the 1000th television show, because this studio right here represents history, it represents tradition, it really represents, Lance, and we've talked about it in the past, what professional wrestling is all about, this studio right here.
Yes, sir, you called it exactly right.
But on a personal note, I'm also excited about being here. And you don't know this, and I'm sure some of the fans might know this, but 10 years ago to the day, 10 years ago to the day, I walked through that curtain and had my first match.
Is that right? 10 years ago to the day.
So on a personal note, I'm real excited. You know, the last 6 weeks hadn't been so great, but change is in the air, because it's my 10-year anniversary. It's the 1000th television show, and I get a chance to regain my unified World Heavyweight title.
That's right.
I want to take a look now on our special 1000 show of USWA Wrestling at a video that took place some years ago, one of the first in wrestling. Take a look at the King, Jerry Lawler.
Born and raised in Memphis, this is where I stay. Tell all the women Jerry Lawler's on the way. Rocker and a roller, fighter and a lover and a king. World's greatest wrestler, I'm the best you've ever seen.
at Jerry Lawler, the world's greatest wrestler. He is the unified world heavyweight champion. Today, making his way around the ring area, and a man that has been here for all 1,000 of the USWA programs here today, the King, Jerry Lawler.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Good to see you. Well, I haven't actually been here in the studio for every one of the 1,000 shows, but I was here, and I've been here in the USWA for all of them. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget when the wrestling used to be, and I don't know if we can say it on Channel 13, but you know, years ago, yeah. And I'll never forget, Jarrett asked me, he said, look, you go over to Channel 5. He said, they'll probably know you better than know me. He said, you go over to Channel 5 and ask them if they'd be interested in having wrestling at Channel 5. I'll never forget. I walked into the studio here in the front office. I didn't know anybody here either, and I met Phil Slavic, who was the program director at the time, and Maury Griner was the manager, and I just went into his office and said, look, I guess hopefully you guys know we wrestle over on Channel 13, and we were just wondering if you'd be interested in having our wrestling show here at Channel 5. And you know, everything from that point on is history. Maury Griner, Phil Slavic, all those people have been great, and now Mason Granger here, and the relationship between USWA Wrestling and TV5 has been terrific, and I've just been happy to be a part of it. And having you here, and of course bringing Lance and Dave over from that old station, it's been super. There have been, man, if you could look back, and it's always great for me to see some of these old clips, to see some of the wrestlers that have been here in the USWA, and to look back on some of the guys. I love to see those photographs of like Jackie Fargo and Roughhouse Fargo and Don Fargo and all of those guys. And you know, I heard Double J out here talking too about the fact that Jackie Fargo, of course, was the kingpin of wrestling here in Memphis and in the USWA at that time. And a lot of people have asked me over the years, they say, you know, how did you become the king? How did you come about that name? And I'll never forget. It was just, it came about so innocently. I was in a series of matches against Jackie Fargo, and just on an interview like this, I came out one day and I said, Jackie Fargo, you have been the kingpin. You have been the king of wrestling in this area for years and years, but you're looking at the kid that's going to take your place. And fortunately, I think by hook or crook, I won that particular match. And the next week when I walked out in the Coliseum, a lot of the young people said, hey, now you're the king. You're the king. And I thought, hey, it's got a little bit of a good ring to it. And so somewhere, actually from Bobby Shane, a guy named Bobby Shane, went out and he loaned me his crown. And I wore that crown the next week at the Coliseum. And about 2 weeks later, Bobby Shane, who loaned me that first crown, was killed in a plane crash. So I was left that and have been wearing that crown ever since. And,
it's fit ever since.
And it's fit ever since. And I always realized that just like I was shooting for Jackie Fargo, there's going to be a lot of guys shooting for me. Yeah. And there's been guys like Jeff Jarrett before, and there's going to be guys after Jeff Jarrett. They're going to be coming along trying to take this unified world title, because this is what it's all about. I mean, every man that steps foot in the squared circle dreams of one day being a world champion. You know, I was no different. I mean, from the very first match I had, that was a goal that I set. If you don't set a goal like this, you know, you're not ever going to be successful.
Exactly right.
I know what you want to do.
Yeah, while you're talking about that, I want to take a look at some highlights back in 1988.
Before they show that, you know, it was getting to that match in 1988. There was a long road, many title matches. Jeff, I want you to realize this. I wish I knew. I don't know the exact number of how many times I went for the world heavyweight title before I was successful. There were the Funks, there were the Briscoes, there were Harley Races, there were Nick Bockwinkel's, all of these guys that I faced time in and time out and come this close to being the world champion until, as you said, in May of 1988. Well, let's roll the film. And Jackie Fargo happened to be there, too.
Indeed, took place in a capacity crowd at the Mid-South Coliseum. Take a look.
He's just blasting.
Found the AWA World Heavyweight Champion in 1988, and I was just telling Jerry, So Jackie Fargo counted to 4. He wanted to make sure you got the 3 count on there.
Well, I didn't know exactly what he was counting to. I was just, I felt like the luckiest person in the world at that moment. You know, and when you look back on that and you see 11,500 screaming fans inside the Mid-South Coliseum.
Capacity crowd. Yeah.
You know, it was fantastic. And I want to take this opportunity here in the 1,000th show and to thank the most important people concerned with the USWA, and this is just a small portion of them right here because there are thousands and thousands out there watching TV. But the fans, there they are.
They've made it great.
Without a doubt, the fans make the USWA, the fans make the wrestlers. We realize that. At least I certainly realize that. I know I'm not popular with every wrestling fan out there. A lot of times I use my mouth up in the WWF, and I make some people a little bit irritated. But you know what? That's just me. I'm not anything different. When you see me here, if you see me out on the street, I'm just the king. That's the only way I'm going to be. And if you like me, that's great. If you don't, hey, that's okay too.
But USWA Championship Wrestling.
With their king, now not only the king, but the world champion. In the air. Well, in I forgot when it was, but anyway, back a few years ago, a couple of guys named George Barnes and Bill Dundee, the Australians, came over as a tag team. George went back to Australia. Superstar Bill Dundee stayed here, and he has really been around a lot. Lately, not all that pleasantly, but take a look at the Superstar.
Valiant Dundee, double leg drive. Beautiful. Dundee staggers to the corner. Valiant follows him. Dundee nails him again. Flying press. Dundee jumped up. That's going to be the bell. Wayne Ferris jumped up on the edge of the ring. Dundee jumped off. Put his shoulder into Ferris and a disqualification at 11:47.
Bill Dundee, that was from about 1978 you were looking at right there. The Superstar has been involved in many, many classic matches in the USWA. We'd like to get him out of here right now, and as I said, it hasn't been all that pleasant having him around lately, but I think on this day of the 1000th TV show from this studio, we want to also recognize you and your contributions, because over this period of time, you've certainly been one of the top names in the USWA, Bill Dundee.
Is this the same plaque they gave Lawler? Mine should have gold all around there, because I showed up every Saturday morning and it was ratings that Bill Dundee got. That's why we're still on here. Lawler would be off playing softball. He'd be off with the WWF. But the Superstar would be here every Saturday morning, and you give him a plaque just like this one.
Well, Bill, it's just recognition. I mean, the fact that we're giving you a plaque at all, I think, is great. Samantha.
Hey, girl, how you doing? Good to see you. All right.
I should have known the way this company is that they would give him a cheap little $2 plastic plaque like that.
Tell him, Sammy, baby, tell him.
You wouldn't even have had a 1,000th show if it hadn't been for the Superstar.
Tell him why.
You know why, Dave?
Why?
Because he's the man.
Hey, you couldn't say it better, Sammy.
What? Don't worry about the little cheap plaque.
All right, what we got for me, Sammy?
I got a big present for you. I just want you to know that all your fans, all your adoring fans have gotten together and spared no expense.
All your fans, same number of fans that were in that bus that came for Randy Hales last week?
Yeah, that's them. Every one of them came down here and spared no expense to give you this very nice plaque, and they asked me to give it to you today.
Well, I thank you. Now, look at this. I ask you. Look, I ask you now. You tell me, look, what more would you want? Sammy, that picture there is 20 years old.
Isn't it beautiful?
Don't look a day different, do I?
No, not a day.
Well, anyway, that's this. Now we'll get back to what's really on my mind. It's you, Wolfie D, and it ain't changed. Dave, I beat him last week. 1, 2, and there was no 3. And I'm looking around. You know what happened? Randy Hale came down. He yelled to the referee, "Hey, come here, come here." And I'm on top, Wolfie, and I turn around and look, boom, the next thing I know, fast count, bam, 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 and he wins my band.
I don't think it's exactly the way you describe it, but I hear what you're saying.
You was there, right?
I was there.
Right. Now, Wolfie D, that van cost 27 grand, and if you think you're going to drive around in it and me in a little cheap old rent-a-car, that's what I got today, little old Chevrolet, because I had to rent the car till I get my van back. Now, make no mistakes, punk, this week, it's going to be on the line. And that mask's going to be on the line. And I'm going to beat you, brother. And when I do, I'm driving out there in my van, and you walking with your little bags and Randy Hale right behind you, because it's Wolfie D, and you out of here, boy.
Well, when you go against Fire, let me tell you this, too. Of course, if you lose the match, then you won't have to worry about picking up a 2,000th plaque, because it's your retirement. You're retired if you lose, and he keeps the van.
And that's another thing that annoys me. How come on the Salton show they want to put Bill Dundee's career on the line? That means there'll be no more if I get beat this week, right?
That's exactly right.
Well,
Superstar, I bet you're wondering where your precious little vehicle is. Well, since I have no use for it, I gave it to a close personal friend of mine by the name of Wolfie D. That's right. Your hubcaps are probably missing right now. Well, since I've got that, now it's time to make you retire, Superstar. I'm going to take your career from you. This will be the last anyone ever sees of the Superstar, Bill Dundee.
Well, there's the word.
no, punk, you ain't taking nothing. For 20 years, people's come into this town and tried to run me out, and I'm still here, and I'll be here after that match, and you'll be gone, Wolfie D, and that's a promise, boy.
Well, we'll find out. The match is coming up. Superstar Bill Dundee going against Cyberpunk Fire. He's collected his plaque. He's collected the picture that was presented by the fan. Samantha's going to stay and watch the Headbangers, who are headed to the ring right now. We can hear that boom box, and boy, is it booming as they head toward the ring. Match underway. Let's go to Corey for the introduction.
Okay, Dave, we are ready. One fall, a 10-minute time limit for action coming up here on USWA Championship Wrestling. Coming in at a combined weight of 493 pounds. Here is the Thrasher and Mosh, the Headbangers. And in their corner, Samantha. Their opponents today, a combined weight of 423 pounds. They are the USWA Tag Team Champions, Fire and Ice, the Cyberpunks. Downtown Bruno is the official referee for this tag team action. Let's go over now to Lance Russell, Dave Brown.
And Samantha standing in the corner of the very large Headbangers, Thrasher and Mush. Fire and Ice, the Cyberpunks across the way. Who's going to start? Looks like it's going to be Mush for his team, and Fire for the team of the Cyberpunks. Bruno calls for the bell, and we are underway with tag team action here in the USWA today. Still got another match to go after this one. Don't go away. We got lots more from the USWA on our 1000th show.
Boy, this could be a dandy, too, Dave, because Cyberpunks, we know their capabilities. They hold the USWA tag titles. And we've seen the Headbangers enough to know that you're not messing around with a couple of guys that just walked in off the street. They can wrestle, and they are some kind of tough. Mosh in there with Fire starting it out. We've got Thrasher and Ice on the outside, along with Samantha. Always got to throw that in, because it bothers me when somebody like that is on the ringside.
Especially with Fire and Ice being the opponents of the Headbangers, and with a history of Bill Dundee and Fire. Samantha's presence there, I just don't care for at all.
Yep. Arn arm gets turned over again by Ice this time as he holds on to the Thrasher's head. Side headlock. A whip into the ropes over the top. Ice goes down again. Hey! Boy, look at that big kick. Oh. Took him over and down as he took Mosh. He wanted to get a part of it. He jumped in and got a piece of it.
Ice got both of them out of the ring, and while they're down on the floor conferring, Ice catches them too close to the ring and puts the boots to the back of Mosh. Look at this as Fire goes out of the ring, down on the floor. He tumbled out there, knocked them both off their feet, and the Headbangers have to be reconsidering the whole thing here. Samantha over with, I'm sure, words of encouragement for the Headbangers team. Thrasher back in the ring as Fire waits for it.
Fire flew out of there and came with those legs, and he peeled them both right out of there, put them down on the deck, back in the ring, the Thrasher, and Fire tie it up. Fire just a little too quick for the big, strong Thrasher as Ice takes over, hooks the arm and runs ahead, or make it the shoulder, right into the turnbuckle. Turns the arm over again. Thrasher taking a lot of the punishment. Gets over to make the tag to Mosh, and look at that leg scissors. Really took him down.
Mosh kind of half stumbled on the rope after as he took the tag, and Ice wasted no time taking advantage of it. He tripped him right up, took his legs out from under him. Nice move. Ice using the right hand, climbing the rope. Mosh back in the corner. Look out, Thrasher coming in without the benefit of a tag. Ice trying to press him down. Didn't work. Oh, mistake there. Up on the top rope, it's Mosh. The Headbanger nails Ice lying in the center of the ring. The Cyberpunks in trouble.
Ice holding up long enough to pop that foot up and nail Thrasher as he was coming off the rope. Make that Mosh.
Ice needed a tag, and he got it. Here is Fire. He fires Mosh into the rope. Goes after Thrasher back in the corner. Taking on both of them. Oh, reversal by Thrasher. Fire takes him over, and a cover. Can't hold him down there, though, because Mosh breaks it up.
That will get in your way occasionally when a big guy like Mosh jumps on your back, and there, a reverse chin lock. And from behind, it's Thrasher this time that nails Fire. Samantha up on the ring apron. Rolled it up. 1, 2, 3, and a win for the Cyberpunks. As Fire really converted.
And Samantha interfered, and it backfired. Fire gets the big... Oh, Samantha trips him up. She tripped up Fire. Mosh tried to drop down with the elbow. But Fire grabs Samantha. He's sick of this whole thing. Oh, Dundee! Well, so much for the fan appreciation plaque that Dundee was presented. Oh, my goodness. Fire lying down on the floor there.
Down on the floor. And Samantha was being manhandled by Fire, and Dundee came out and busted it all. Glass frame and the bunch right over Fire's head. We'll take time out, get this cleaned up, and be back in a moment.
Hey, here we are right here. We're just about ready to go with some conversation with a young man who hasn't been around for all 1,000 shows, but I tell you, in the last few of them, he has really made his presence known. Talking about the one and only Brian Christopher, Too Sexy. Maybe we get just a word or two from him about the action that he's involved in. You know, this Men on a Mission thing has really been rugged involving Brian Christopher for the last few weeks. And he's got a match set up this week, which he will also have to deal with King Mabel and Sir Mo. He's joined by Jesse James Armstrong as he makes his way over to the area right now. Big high fives all around. For Brian Christopher,
How
Jesse
about one,
James
Dave?
Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's what I like. I like all my fans over here to get me fired up. And believe me, Dave, I'm going to be fired up Monday night. Can you wait, Jesse?
Fired up right now,
oh, yeah, baby, because I got a surprise. You know, we got a celebration going on right here. But what would a celebration be without a surprise, Dave? You got to have a surprise, right?
Surprise, surprise, Dave.
Oh, yes, and Men on a Mission, Reggie B. Fine, Brickhouse Brown, you've surprised us 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, they've brought out an extra man, right, from behind with a can of ether. Well, believe me, boys, this week is going to be a different story because I'm the one that's going to be surprising you. And, hey, you people want to see the surprise right now. Huh? You want to see it? You want to see it?
I want to see it.
I want to see it, baby. Listen up. Everybody over here, I want to hear a hoo. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look out. Look out.
Baby, right there, get the camera on it. We have gone out and got us a new Moondog, baby. That right there is Moondog Rover. Rover has not a lick of sense. He has no brains, baby. But I'll tell you what he can do. That man can fight. That man can fight.
Right.
That man can scratch whatever it takes. And get ready, because you got two Moondogs, along with the sexiest man alive and this man right
They're
here.
all going to be going at it this week. Look out for the Moondog. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Keep him away from it.
TV5 night coming up Monday night, where all tickets will be just $5. So that means you better start getting your tickets. All of the ringside tickets, everything will be just $5. You need to get them today.
7 big matches in all, including these right here. Retirement match. Bill Dundee will be going against Cyberpunk Fire. Fire's already won his van. It's the van against Bill retiring if he loses this one.
Then it'll be a grudge 8-man tag match. Moondog Rules Anything Goes with Brian Christopher, the Moondogs, and Jesse James Armstrong against Mabel and Mo, Reggie B. Fine, and Brickhouse Brown.
Main event of the night, unified world title at stake. Jeff Jarrett had it. Jeff was injured, had to give up the title. Jerry Lawler is the current unified world champion. He will be defending that title Monday night in the main event against Jeff Jarrett at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Look for you being down there as we will be, and by golly, we got to get out of here. The 1000th show, what a lot of fun it was. We hope you'll be back with us next week. For Dave and Corey, Lance saying bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.